Good morning, my beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of Morning Mind Dump with Trie. I'm your host, Trie, and this is where we get to spill some of our thoughts, share our stories, and, well, dump whatever's on our mind to clear the mental clutter. Whether you're grounding your feet into the earth or simply grounding your thoughts for the day, I'm here for it. Just a quick reminder, everything I share here is just one perspective. My personal take on life, art, and all things mindful. You might vibe with it or you might not, and that's totally cool. I'd love to hear your thoughts, whether you agree or disagree. So if anything I say sparks something in you, let's keep the conversation going. Connect with me on social media and let's chat calmly, rationally, and with good vibes only. We can always learn from each other, right? Hey, welcome back, Morning Mind Dumpers. It's me, Trie, your favorite mind dumper. If you're new here, buckle up because today we are diving into a topic that's near and dear to my heart: vulnerability, self-love, and why sometimes we find ourselves dumping all our feels into the universe and getting breadcrumbs in return. Yikes. Yeah, but don't worry. We're going to have a laugh about it. Trust me. If you're dealing with any of this, you're not alone. So grab your coffee, or in my case, a big giant cup of I can't believe I'm awake tea, and let's get into it. So picture this. It's the crack of dawn and you've got one eye open. You're already thinking about everything you didn't do yesterday, and your brain is like, hey, let's sort through all of that, now before coffee. I'm talking about the morning mind dump. You know, that movement when your brain starts spilling out everything from what's for breakfast, what's my purpose in life, everything. Just all before it's time to wake up and get out of bed. And it's like your brain is trying to get ahead of itself, and you've just hit record on your thoughts without a filter. For a while now, I used to text someone I thought was special, my morning mind dumps. Just trying to be all vulnerable and open, like, hey, here's my unfiltered brain for you. Hope you're ready. Good morning. And honestly, like, the response was, let's call it minimal. I believe they call it breadcrumbing. That little response that were like interesting, or maybe an emoji. The responses were either not at all and just letting me dump, and totally just reading it, I guess, and disregarding it. Or maybe they just didn't know how to respond to it on some of those things. But anyway, I mean, how do you turn that into anything other than a feeling of, well, that was a waste of my time and waste of my morning mind dumps that should have been sent to my journal and not somebody else? Who I know, honestly, at the time, I do realize that it was poor timing. But anyway, so here's the deal. I just kept dumping my thoughts out, hoping that this someone would reciprocate. But guess what? It turns out people will give you crumbs if they're not ready to be vulnerable with you. And guess what else? It's not your problem. It wasn't my problem. And I took it personally. I didn't get it at the time. It was his way of saying, I don't want to be vulnerable with you, or I can't be vulnerable with you. But here's where it gets good. The breadcrumbs, those little frustrating little responses, were actually blessings in disguise, because they taught me how important it is to show up for myself first and foremost. And I realized I was dumping all my feelings on someone who wasn't ready to catch them. And that's not really fair to anyone, right? Like, it's not fair to him. It wasn't fair to me. So instead of waiting for someone to meet me halfway, I started looking inward, focusing on what I needed to hear and giving myself the love and encouragement that I deserved. I started journaling, but then I really didn't want to write. I wanted to talk about it. Then I started recording myself, and that's how the morning mind dump was born. That's right. I turned my emotional outpour into something productive. Something that would not only help me, but hopefully also help you and anyone else who is listening. And here's the best part. Speaking your truth, especially when it's uncomfortable, is the key to unlocking self-love and confidence. If you can speak your truth without expectations of how others are going to respond to you free yourself. And I did that. I did that a lot. And again, I do know it was not the appropriate timing for this other person to receive this. And maybe it was selfish of me, but it was something I needed to do. I think everything happens for a reason. And, even if I got breadcrumbing, maybe some of the things that I said helped this person too. Because we were both going through some challenging life things. And honestly, that's why I felt vulnerable, is because I felt like we had a connection, not just, having a somewhat similar. I also felt something deeper than that. And I reached out and I said, I really want to be friends with you. And after a couple years, we still haven't really become friends, kind of friends that I wanted. And I had hoped for a romantic connection at one point. I'm past that now. So my challenge to you today is, next time you feel like you're dumping your feelings, ask yourself, is this for me? Or am I expecting some way to fix this? Or if it's for you, then speak it loud and proud and let it go. You don't need anyone else to validate your thoughts or emotions. You've got yourself, and that's a major superpower. And that's what I've learned in the past year. Okay, folks, it's time to wrap up this morning mind dump session. But before I go, I've got a little poll for you. Head on over to my social media and let me know, how do you handle vulnerability? Do you hold back or let it out, or no matter what the response? Your answers could spark a future episode. You never know. Totally encourage people to voice their opinions and their perspectives, hopefully without judgment. So remember, my fellow mind dumpers, next time you're ready to spill your guts, make sure you do it for yourself. The right people will show up when you're showing up for yourself. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, keep dumping those thoughts. Keep loving yourself. Remember, you've got this. Keep grounded. Much love and hugs. All right, my beautiful souls, that's a wrap for today's morning mind dump. If you're feeling it, don't forget to check out the poll question for today's episode. I'd love to know your thoughts and keep the conversation flowing. If you enjoyed hanging out with me this morning, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming mind dumps. And hey, if you want to say hi, be a guest, come find me on social media. Let's connect, share ideas, and keep the good energy going. Until next time, stay grounded, stay creative, and keep dumping that mind clutter. Much love and hug. Have a great day.